Several different quarterback-related items have happened since our live show, so we're going to break them down, then get to the rest of the normally planned cut out of live. Will Grier is set to sign with the Dallas Cowboys practice squad. Newey Scruggs breaking that news. Not official yet, but it certainly makes sense. He knows the offense. He knows the system. He's been here before. He's been here with Mike McCarthy. He had recently been cut by the Eagles from their practice squad. Kind of a no-brainer in terms of knows the offense, has familiarity, can be your number 3 QB with Dak likely out for the year. So no complaints at all about that one. And you had to get a third QB in. So I think that's a fine move in a lost season in terms of all things go. And then Cooper Rush is going to start again this week, which probably not as fine. That one announced by Mike McCarthy, so it's Rush Hour 2. We'll see how many more sequels we end up getting there. Cooper Rush was terrible. There's no way around it. That was a putrid performance out of Rush, out of the passing offense in general. It was bad. I'm not surprised they're going back to Rush because I think McCarthy's kind of stubborn and thinks he still gives the Cowboys the best shot to win games, but you will never win games with that stat line out of your quarterback. More updates, news, conversation to come, but is starting Cooper Rush the right move? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Some injury news as well, worth monitoring throughout the week. DeMarvion Overshow has a knee injury. It's bursitis in his knee. I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't think that will cost him any playing time. We'll see. He has been one of your limited bright spots this season. He is explosive. He is impactful. He is around the football consistently. He is, outside of Micah, one of your fastest front 7 players and your only true, maybe fast front 7 player. He's been really, really good this year. So hopefully he doesn't miss any time because this does matter. I want my young guys to play more so that I can see what they have moving forward and put them in a better spot for 2025. If you haven't already, hit that sub button, youtube.com/CowboysTV. Free Cowboys videos for you each and every single day right here on the channel. Good, bad, or the ugly we've seen lately, we got you covered. Let's go to the Micah Parsons. I'm going to call it drama around Mike McCarthy. He was asked about what he felt about Mike McCarthy returning as the Cowboys head coach, and his comments have drawn some criticism from national media, fan base, etc. First, here's what Micah said. And this is on video, so we can't really dispute it. But that's above my pay grade. He asked what would you feel about if Mike McCarthy returned? If Mike's coaching again next year. All coaching aside, Mike can leave and go where he wants to. Guys I kind of feel bad for, guys like Zach Martin, and guys who might be on their last year, on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those types of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for. That's not a misquote. That is what Micah said. Now, Micah has since disputed what Micah meant, however. He's going to make comments on his podcast. He got a little pissy this morning on social media because it certainly read and sounded like Micah was taking a shot at Mike McCarthy with the worked harder than anyone else ever had before. I have thoughts on this that maybe you agree with and maybe you don't. Are you upset with Micah's comments? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off with the pinned comment of today's show, especially if the ad comes here on YouTube. In general, my answer is no, because I don't believe Micah had any intent of taking a shot at Mike McCarthy. That is how the quote reads. Micah, I think, was very clearly just trying to show love for his teammates. That's all he was trying to do. He was trying to say how much he loved Zach Martin, how he feels bad for Zach Martin, and it might be over for Martin. It's not over for Mike McCarthy. He can go coach somewhere else. But in the process, he accidentally did a Mike McCarthy drive-by with the work comments. What happened here is Micah was trying to be Mr. Profound. He was trying to say something insightful about the veteran leaders like Zach Martin on this team, and he simply didn't execute that at all, really. It was a bit of a he spoke bad type of moment. And sometimes less is more if you're not quite as adept as I think he will continue to be in terms of talking to the media. But also, even if that's not what he meant, and he did mean to take a shot at Mike McCarthy, isn't that what we've said? How many of us, I know I am included in this conversation, have been anti-Mike McCarthy for years now? I don't think it's fair for us to be mad and say similar things about Mike McCarthy and be critical and say that he's not doing a good job, whatever, and then a player makes semi-similar comments and we get mad at him for it. That doesn't seem fair to me. That seems like a double standard. So knowing that Micah, I don't think meant to say anything negative about McCarthy and he just didn't phrase it right, knowing the fact that I have also said negative things too, I'm not going to hold that against him at all. But in general, we're a very mad fan base right now. The podcast Parsons allegations can still not be. He played very well, by the way, against Philadelphia. So if you're mad, I get it. I do. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's available in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. They invented the flex play, which means you still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. One of my Monday Night Football lineups, the group chat shared it. I felt dirty putting a kicker on there, but I actually think it makes some sense. I think the Dolphins' offense has not been very good this year. They might struggle. I like Cooper Kupp more than 6 catches to less than passing yards. I actually think it makes sense, so I'm going to ride the group chat one on that. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. That's code CLNS over at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Now let's go to Jerry Jones's comments because we always have to find a way to talk about the owner because he just doesn't stop talking. His comments, I think, got even more misconstrued and just flat out wrongly interpreted than what Micah's were. Here's what Jerry said. I don't want to be sarcastic, but have you got the same arithmetic as I've got? We won 3 games with Dak. So I'm just saying we weren't playing well with Dak at all. So there's a lot to work on here, and we are all aware of that, and it's concerning. I thought we'd look better tonight without Dak. I thought we'd look better on offense than we looked without Dak. I've seen Cooper play better than we played tonight. Philadelphia's got a lot to do with that. Now, what happened is that got edited, those quotes, into one and ignored the fact that those were 2 different thoughts. Those were 2 different, basically, comments made by Jerry Jones. Look, he's also not wrong that they weren't playing well with Dak. That is a fact. We all have eyeballs. It was not going very well. But the second part of that quote, when he starts to mention the quarterbacks, that was only about week 10. It was specifically about the game, not tied into the previous one. It wasn't, I thought we would be a better team starting Cooper Rush than if we were starting Dak Prescott. It was, I thought we'd look better tonight with Cooper Rush, even though we don't have Dak Prescott. That's what it was. It was not Rush over Dak. It was, I thought Rush would be better, which is what I said after the game. I agree again. Look, Jerry is not the same talker he once was, which in terms of the volume he is, in terms of the clarity, it's gotten worse over the years. So this got, I think, pretty outright heavily misconstrued. And again, we are all mad right now. Everyone is upset about this team, about this ownership, about the players. I get it. All of it is accurate. And the frustration, the disappointment, the feeling of annoyed with the way this team is played, I get it. So if you want to lash out at the owner, I ain't going to stop you. Because this is why the owner and the GM should not talk after every game. Because it just leads to bad. And you got to making stupid comments about not putting up the blinds. And Jerry's basically being the gangly guy from The Office going, shut up about the sun. Shut up about the sun. And it's like, you brought it up on your own. And also you're wrong. It's just frustrating over and over again. Now, for 2024 specifically, I want you guys to grade the job Jerry Jones has done. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. In what has been a very bad season and a lot of negative, and the negativity is justified, frankly, I would like to end today's show with a couple shout-outs for players who I thought did a pretty darn good job against Philadelphia, beginning with Micah Parsons. Made his return from the high ankle sprain, played really well. In general, your defense had a very strong performance. Micah was a pass-rushing machine before the game got completely out of hand. DeMarvion Overshow, while not perfect, again continues to make splash impact plays. Those two are building block pieces for your defense as you move forward. So before we get to the other three names here, name a player who you think played well against the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Number 3 is Trayvon Diggs. And it's not an accident that the Eagles literally did not look his way at all in that game. Their game plan going in was, we're not going to look in the direction of Trayvon Diggs. We refuse to do it. We're not looking that way. They looked at him one time. He had one target the entire game, and it was picked off. Every other target was directed away from Trayvon Diggs. It's a good game from Diggs. Had the INT, got in the face of Jalen Hurts, I think was trying to dare him into throwing at him and trying to make another play, but Hurts wasn't falling for it. Number 5, Rico Dowdle. Or number 4, Rico Dowdle. Every time he gets a chance to run the ball the past month of games, he's done a pretty good job. He looks solid. I am open to adding a back to pair with Dowdle next year in the draft, even though he's a free agent. He's super successful, super efficient, not crazy amount of explosive plays, but he's clearly been your best back. It's a damn shame it's taken the Cowboys offense 7 weeks to figure that out, and or they keep trying to throw the ball when they've actually run the ball pretty well. Number 5 is Tyler Smith, and we can put the kicker on here, but he just had a couple chip shots, so it's fine. I'm only going 5. There are more names you can mention here. I thought Tyler Smith was your best offense. I thought that was actually one of the better Tyler Smith games all year. Didn't really have any issues in pass protection. Thought Austin Richards had a pretty solid game. Overall, your O-line wasn't that big of an issue. It's that the passing game was a dumpster fire.